CAD 118, Module 1, Part 2. We're going to look at the user coordinate system using our AutoCAD. We're going to open this practice file 1-3, and I'm also going to open my files for our student lab assignment 1A and 1B, and we're going to walk through some of those UCS commands. You can download the practice file here by selecting download and open, and then you can open that file within AutoCAD. And so I have the file open here, and then we can take a look at that. Our user coordinate system is this X, Y, and Z axis right here, and the commands are located on this home tab with our different coordinate UCS icon commands. If we select this, we can show the UCS at the origin. We can show the UCS icon or turn it off. When we have it shown at the origin, if we have the grid and the snap on, I'm just going to say UCS, down arrow, O for origin. I can draw a line from the 0, 0 position of that. Let me turn that on. There we go. Now the UCS is at the origin, and you can see that the 0 point is right here where X, Y, and Z meet. And so as we work with AutoCAD, what we do is we manipulate the UCS to draw on different surfaces of our 3D models. In this practice exercise, we'll take a look at different methods of working with the UCS. And so we can go through and just put these circles on the different features of this 3D model. And so we have practice 1-3 open. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that dynamic UCS is on by hitting the custom area and then making sure that dynamic UCS is on. And here's my dynamic UCS. If I turn it off, and it's this icon right here. And what that'll do is it'll gravitate to the face or the plane. And this is just one method for creating the geometry for this exercise. So if we wanted to put a circle on the top and on these inclined planes, we can have our dynamic UCS on. And we also want to have a 3D O snap on. And so as we look at our O snaps, we can go to our object snap settings, and then we can make sure that our 3D O snaps are enabled. And I'm going to turn off my 2D O snaps so we can see the difference. Actually, I think I'll leave them on because I will probably use both of them. And then I'm going to say OK. And then I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to go to the draw commands. And before I do, I'm going to make a layer so that I can see the color better. And I'll just leave it at layer 1. And I'll make it, let's make it this green. We'll make that current. And then when you're in a draw command while dynamic UCS is on, then what we can do is we can gravitate to that component. And so if we go to the circle command, you'll notice that it highlights it and it acquires that 3 point. I'm going to go ahead and put that on there. I'm going to change that color, maybe make it red. That looks a little better. And we can see that. We can also go to our layer to make this more visible and change the line weight settings so that they're easier to see. And so if we make this 0.5 millimeters, and then we turn on our line weights, you can see that better as well. And then if we wanted to put a circle on the side of these, you would use a combination of O-snaps to create a construction line. And so I'd use the endpoint here and the endpoint here. And you only need one, but I'll make two just to make it clear. And then I can put a circle, and I guess it's really not on the center there, but to create that geometry. Shift middle mouse wheel, and you can rotate that. And then we can do the same thing on this side. If we wanted to make a circle, we can say circle, we can gravitate to the center there, and we can create that. Shift middle mouse wheel. Circle command, dynamic UCS. Shift middle mouse wheel. Circle command. And so that would be one method for creating this. And I'm going to undo this one. This one doesn't quite look the way I wanted it to. So let me take those off. Sometimes you need to bail out of the conceptual to better edit the geometry. And then go back into it to see that. And then I can come back here with the circle command. And if I hit enter, it'll remember the last diameter. All right, once you have the drawing created, what you can do is you can go to the layout mode. And what we can do is we can bring in a mechanical title block, put the mechanical title block onto the drawing, and then save that and submit that to the assignments folder. So once we have our lab completed, we can put our name on it. You can put the title block on or turn it in with just the layout mode. Either one is fine. If you decide to just put your name on it, we can just go to the text command, double click outside of the viewport, and we could say mtext. And then we can go ahead and put our name on that. Green check mark. And then we'll save that. With your initials and the name of the drawing lab. We'll call this your initials practice 1-3. Once you have that drawing saved, you can then turn it into the assignments folder. And so we can go to our D2L. So once we have this practice exercise completed, again, we save it. I'm going to save it with my initials. It's my downloads. And then I'm going to go into the D2L system under assignments. And here's my module 1. This will be due Sunday the 19th. I'll select the module. Here's the grading criteria, completeness, graphical accuracy, uses proper design rules, proper dimensioning, proper use of CAD features. We can add the file. And then if you had a note that you wanted to add, if you want to communicate to the instructor, you can do that. Alrighty. Continuing, let's take a look at the lab assignments, Lab 1A and Lab 1B. The lab assignments are located right here. Excuse me, these are here they are, the PDF. And so you can download that, open it in your web browser. And essentially it's just a cube. We're not really too concerned with how big that cube is. We're just going to draw that and then put the text on the appropriate planes using the user coordinate system. So let's get started. We can download the title block for the B-size mechanical right here. And then we can open that. And that'll bring us into our mechanical design title block. We can go to the model space tab, and then we can set up our interface. For this exercise, I'm going to go with the 2D workspace, drafting and annotation. I'm going to set up my grid and my snap. I'll leave my polar tracking enabled, and I'll have my object snap on. Once I have done that, what I'll do is I'll create a rectangle. And that's a little big. Let's see. Let's get it to be about inches by 4 inches. And then what we can do is we can look at a couple of different methods for constructing this. We'll grab an isometric view. I'm going to make a copy of this just to show a couple of different techniques. The difference between creating a solid model and creating a wireframe model. Since we created this with a polyline, and you can click on the geometry, right click, and look at the quick properties, and it'll tell you that it's a polyline. If we were to create that with lines, and I'm going to explode this, then it would tell you that it's a line. And then there's a couple of different methods that we could use to create this model. One is we could copy it. And so we could say copy, select the geometry, hit enter, copy it from here, and then gravitate up into the Z direction and hit escape. We can then use our object snaps to connect the endpoints. And then when it's time to draw on the model itself, we want to work with these different UCS commands. I'm going to use my toolbar by selecting Tools, Toolbars, AutoCAD, and UCS. And I'm going to put a 3-point UCS. It's the first point where the X and Y axis will meet. It's the direction of the X axis, and that's the direction of the Y axis. And then I can go to the text command. We'll say dtext, and I can go and choose a different layer for that. Dtext is multi-line text. And then I can go and put a little box here, and I can call that the right side. And green check mark it. Not too worried about the size. Let's try to make it a little bit bigger. If you wanted to make that a little bit bigger, you can scale it. Can move that over a little bit. F9 turns off